Mortal Shell is Dark Souls, but you become hard. It's something I would never say.
You just said it though.
I mean, say it and mean what I said.
Didn't you mean it?
I actually tried Mortal Shell once before. I played it for 15 minutes, thought of it as a Dark Souls ripoff with a hardening mechanic and quit. With the announcement and sick trailers of Mortal Shell 2, I wanted to get brought up to speed and increase my understanding, so I gave it another shot. Before I tear into this game, let me start off with what I like. I like the animations in this game so much, so I'm gonna give y'all a highlight reel of my favorites. First you got a hammer chisel 1, 2, chick chick. See how he goes on one leg? That really sells it. Now we got a hammer chisel, final hit of the R2. See the air time? See the double jump and next up we got Marty Blade. The whole R1 chain is just beautiful. Look at this. Heavy. Poke, poke while holding the blade as well. It's just gorgeous, man. This one goes out to the final hit of the Hello Sword R2. The classic Mortal Shell bad swing with the sword. It's so creative. This is for the Smoldering Maze R2 first 2 hits only, specifically. Not the last one, that one is kinda goofy. Only those 2 first, those meaty. You see him charging it up? And not the 3rd hit, not at all. Hardening in and of itself is a cool idea. Something tries to hit you and you just stand there stone cold. It can be used as both a defensive and an offensive tool. It can also be used as a utility to get your stamina back, but we'll get into that later. Hardening makes Mortal Shell unique, but also good. We'll be finding that out together with other stuff in this episode of... This isn't even really a series. Let me know if you know a fun name that we won't use. The first level of this game is a disaster. It's basically the hub area that connects to all 3 main areas. It's also a poison swamp. Before you get here, you've been given a brief tutorial on how to harden and die. Now go and die some more if you will, without literal any sense of where to go. After an hour or so of running around, I found myself in a big area of nothingness. Before this point, the game hadn't communicated anything to me. How do I level up? Where are the checkpoints? Are there even checkpoints, or will I just keep spawning by this lady? What is my name? Even that last one isn't a joke. You literally need to know your name to level up. It turns out the lady is the checkpoint and also your means of upgrading. And stop me if I'm tripping, but why is find your name or whatever phrased that way? I can't be the only one that thought I needed to actually go out and find it somewhere lying around the corner. Couldn't they just have said hold X to know name? Or what? They actually do that? Bad game. To make my point, I actually want to take a look at the tutorial area from Dark Souls. There, you start the game, walk around with a really weak weapon, find a bonfire, see a big boss to which you die or you run away from, find a stronger weapon, kill some enemies, kill the boss, and on to the next level. Dark Souls tells you exactly what it will be about in this opening. It teaches you trial and error, smart thinking, empowerment, the difference between small enemy and boss, walking through a level and its rough pacing, and respawning. The lackluster opening of Mortal Shell leaves you up to your own with way too little information of anything, which made me just wander around for an hour plus, randomly killing enemies and making my way to the next area without even having found the home base. The place where they give you all the context on what to do and why. Pretty early on, the game teaches you that there will be no items of interest or intrigue to be found. I once saw an item all the way at the end of a long walkway and didn't bother to pick it up. I literally would rather save some seconds of my life than pick up an item. And this was in the first hour of the game. That is a really bad sign. In Mortal Shell's defense, I really happened to walk into the worst area of the game at the start. Reasons being an overabundance of both enemies and square feet. For this visually uninteresting black and white level, you need to traverse great distances and press X on 3 torches so the big door opens up. After this point, there actually is a pretty interesting level where you need to climb up this big tower with some clever enemy placement with ranged attacks that will keep you on your toes. But being conditioned to not look around the level, I actually missed the bonfire. I mean, whatever her name is. Bonfire should never be this easy to miss. Tucked away in a little corner, hardly distinguishable from the background, bonfire should give you a feeling of accomplishment and be presented as such. It's like the devs wanted you to miss her. It's such weird placement, just in a field, no other room, nothing, just there, next to some enemies. Sometimes she's big and impossible to miss, others she's hiding unannounced. So where was I? This game is a navigational nightmare. Even till the last moments of the game, I had no idea where I was going. Everything looks identical in the swamps. I didn't even have a mental map of what was where. This game would have benefited so much from a map. You can't have both, no map and nonsensical level design. Or you can, it just means the players of your game will make a map for you. And I know this because I actually had to use this to find the last area of the game. After some trial and error, I would have probably found it, but since there's nothing of interest to do in this game, I just wanted to at least be in an actual level and not wander around in the dumb swamp. Yeah, the levels themselves are pretty interesting to run through and feel cleverly designed with lots of narrow hallways full of enemies to back that. No, I'm only partially kidding. It's surprising to me that these sorts of games still think it's a good idea to throw a dozen enemies at you at once. These lands are overpopulated and the raw quantity of enemies you'll be facing in areas disincentivizes you to use a slow weapon and just to engage with the enemies at all. For a huge chunk of the game, the only way of healing you have are consumables. How is it a good idea to make your game about fighting stuff heavily penalize you for taking risks with the scarce healing you have at your disposal? And no, it's not like Bloodborne, where you fight enemies to get more healing. You mainly heal with the mushrooms. They spawn in set locations, infinitely respawnable, but with this long timer attached to it. I don't mind not having a lot of different enemies, but seeing the same ones just spammed over and over does quickly sour the experience. One time I did a plunging attack in Mortal Shell. The first time I saw the amount of damage it did, it was like being spit in the face. I felt personally offended. Just through this one thing, you can already see that there is a major gap in the understanding of the developers. Why the plunging attack has to do a lot of damage. In a game where you cannot jump, it will be a rare occurrence where you find yourself in the position to be able to pull off a plunging attack. Because of this, the player's creativity should be celebrated by the developers by giving the attack damage to back. Even though it might not make sense for the attack to do 5 times as much damage as a regular swing, it should, no matter the scenario. Now that I think about it, the PAD, that stands for plunging attack damage, is probably so low because they made a skill that lets you deal damage or extra damage if you land on an enemy in your hardened state. If they really wanted us to make use of this, it would have been better if they just didn't give us a PA, that stands for plunging attack, at all. I found the most success when I just turned off my brain and started abusing stuff. Combat in this game is no dance, but more of a brawl, where you try to minimize damage taken rather than completely avoid it. The combat is satisfying, but quickly becomes stale. You would think that with a mechanic like Harden, it would act like a sort of shield, where when the enemies hit you while hardened, they recoil, leaving you with an opening to attack. That is only the case sometimes. It is seemingly up to chance if a successful harden block will merit you with a safe counter attack or not. This inconsistency makes it really unattractive to play the conventional way of avoid damage, do damage, and turn most boss fights into all-out brawls where you go toe-to-toe with the boss, tanking a few hits and blocking others. In combination with the bad hit detection, it really makes you feel like you are bobbing and weaving some of the boss's hits without it actually being you who does it, but the game messing up in a way. Entering the black and white area, you get Big Health Bar Mike, which has a ridiculous amount of health. His downside is that he doesn't have a lot of stamina, So you say to yourself, if only I could find a way to get more stamina. It turns out that while hardened, you regain stamina, essentially giving you a period of time where you could regain stamina with a small bonus being that you're invulnerable in this period, turning the harden into a stamina potion. And I wasn't worried about the damage I might take after releasing harden because I'm using big health bar mic. So if you press R1 and L1 at the same time, you do this special ability which does a lot of damage but also makes you invulnerable and gives you a bit of time to regain your stamina. It consumes meter which you gain from landing attacks. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? You basically become an unkillable blender with the hammer and chisel. Having multiple health bars is a neat idea, but I'm already clearing the bosses with one. Do I really need two? Or even three if you count picking up your souls? That gives you full HP too. Maybe even 4 if you count the item which lets you reset your revive. The revive mechanic brings up a few questions. How much health was the game balanced throughout? I've got 2 complete health bars at my disposal at all times. Is it really just a second life, or is it supposed to be just my health split over 2 health bars? And when you start introducing the third one from corpse running, it gets even jankier. It feels like the devs didn't think ahead that far, because the attempt after your first will grant you an extra full health bar. Is your first encounter supposed to be so much harder than your second? I think the devs put the max health on corpse pickup there so you could start off the encounter at full health, but it is so easy to exploit and just use as a heal that it would surprise me if they actually didn't think of it. Even dying the first time and trying to get back in your shell is weirdly implemented. It's pretty much a guaranteed revive unless it's not. They could have easily made it harder to pull off, making the second life feel more like you earned it than cheap as it feels now. Parries are cool, and it's neat that they give some customization in what you want to happen after your parry. You can slow down time or heal, but why would they not just give it to you at the start of the game? Due to them hiding it in the hub tower, I played through 1/3 of the game without an actually fun mechanic that could have mixed up my gameplay a little more. I respect the skill tree approach and extra appreciate that the options feel unique and game altering. You will rarely see flat upgrades like more damage unless it's attached to a condition. I spec into extra damage when enemies are alone and extra damage for every enemy you kill, and the effect stacks until you get disconnected from your shell. These are actual fun and unique upgrades. It's a bummer that there's so little choice, but I still think this could actually be a better system than the traditional Souls way because it provides the player with more agency. Souls are essentially worthless with needing 2 currencies. Next to your souls, you have an extra currency called glimpses, which you need to have to upgrade your character together with the souls. You get it from bosses and find some lying around or dropped by enemies, but overall they are pretty scarce. And this second currency detracts from the value souls have because you basically need glimpses to use your souls. There isn't a shop you can easily access, and there is no fast travel. In New Game Plus, the lady has a shop. They should have just done it like this from the start, but conclusion, 2 out of 5. The first non-passing grade I've dished out actually. I'm still hyped for Mortal Shell 2, don't get it twisted. You shouldn't sleep on it either. It looks like that's where Cold Symmetry will really show us what they're capable of, since this game was them under bad circumstances. And Cold Symmetry, if you want some advice, I would get rid of the crawling sections and increase the PA damage.